Now I'd like to turn the meeting over to General Manager Dallas Crum.
Morning, everyone. Everyone hear me in the back okay? Okay. Welcome to the 81st Annual Meeting of Thumb Electric and Member Appreciation Day. First, I'd like to thank the Octagon Barn Committee for allowing us to have our meeting here. We had our meeting here last year for the first time, and we heard nothing but positive comments about our last year's meeting. So that's why we're here again. And we hope to grow our relationship with the Octagon Barn to bring exposure to the many historical and educational things that are here on the property, and also increase our attendance at our annual meeting here. So after this meeting's over, we're going to have activities for the families and the kids, but the barns, all but the main barn, will be open for you to go through. I apologize for the main barn being closed today, but it is under construction, so you will not be able to go through the main barn. One of the things that makes this meeting a success is your involvement and in your engagement in this meeting. So what I'm going to do here is first touch on a few things that I think are important to bring to your attention, what's going on at the co-op, but then really open up the floor and hear from you, our members of the co-op. So let's get into the things that I think you should be aware of. First of all, from a safety perspective, 2017 was a very successful year again. Thumb Electric employees and contractors working on our property continue to work safely. And I'm proud to share with you the same thing I shared with you last year at this time, and that is our last lost time incident occurred in October of 2015. So, as you're well aware, thank you, and as you're well aware, the working in the electric line business can be very dangerous, and then when there's storms and major outages and you have additional crews on the property, that danger, that potential danger increases substantially. So again, if we could just give a round of applause to the 30 employees and contractors that work safely. In 2017, speaking of a couple outages, 2017 our system experienced a couple major weather events. The first one occurred in March. If you recall, we had, it wasn't only the Thumb area, but the statewide, the whole state was hit with very high winds. And that wind event impacted about 4,200 of our members. And for that storm, we brought in 11 additional linemen to assist in the restoration effort. And that restoration effort took 2 days to complete. So some of our members were without power for 2 days. And then a month later, in April, the Thumb area got hit pretty hard with snow, sleet, ice event. And that event in April impacted 4,300 members. Now, during that storm, we brought in 54 additional linemen to assist in the 4-day restoration. So that event, we had some members without power for 4 days. We had over 70 broken poles. So it was a couple storms that we were challenged with last year, and we successfully restored members in a safe and timely manner. You met Craig from Mecca earlier. You know, they do a lot of things for us in the political arena, which is to your benefit. But they also, during these storm events, when Thumb Electric needs additional crew strength, or another co-op might need additional crew strength, they coordinate the mutual aid assistance we need. We make one phone call to Mecca, and then from there they make the phone call. So we just have to be tied up making one phone call, and then the help comes in through Mecca. So that's we appreciate being part of Mecca's mutual assistance. We would prefer to be on the helping side more often than the assisting side. Now, those two weather events that impacted us last year, it hit our financials quite hard. As a result, the membership did see a 3.5% rate increase effective in April of this year. And most of that rate increase shows up on your electric bill with an increased monthly meter charge of a $5 increase. With that additional revenue coming in, we're able to maintain the system, and we continue our aggressive tree trimming program. We are on scheduled circuit works. We're using Cap and Tree Services. They do a great job for us. We've established a great relationship with them over the years. And we work hard to get the right-of-way that we're required to have to ensure that the public is safe, our workers are safe, and that you, as members, can continue to get reliable power when you need it. So I appreciate and thank all those property owners and members that have worked with us and the contractors to help us achieve a better safety or a better tree trimming program. We continue to make capital investments. The board every year approves capital investments into our system, rebuilding and upgrading aged and underperforming circuits. We currently have contractors on the property rebuilding a 15-mile project, which starts at our Kindy substation and ends at our Ubley substation. And on this circuit, there will be a transmission circuit, a distribution circuit, and there will also be fiber communications along that 15-mile stretch. We have retained an engineering firm to conduct a fiber feasibility study in our area to determine if there is a need for better internet service and another fiber provider in the area. So depending on the results of that study, we may be looking at getting into the fiber business. But it's a little premature, but that is the direction we're looking. And it all depends on what the feasibility study comes back with. So stay tuned on that. We also have retained an engineering firm to assist in our procurement of an automated metering infrastructure system, which will allow us to do a lot of things that we're manually doing. So we hope to have a vendor or technology selected by the end of the year with deployment to start in the beginning of 2019. Along with those items, we continue to offer a full slate of programs that you're probably well aware of. If not, folks in the back can fill you in on many of the programs. Some of them, just to name a few, will help you become more energy efficient and save you money. We perform home energy audits. We have energy efficient rebates and loans available. Many of you are familiar with our controlled water heater programs, our heating and cooling programs. We have LED security lights, private tree trimming. If you have trees on your own private property that you want manicured or trimmed, you can get a quote through us. Cap and Trees will be doing the service, so it'll be done professionally and safely. We have surge protection programs. And our propane business, run through our subsidiary, Thumb Energy Services, is doing really well. We have about 1,100 accounts that get propane through us. So if you're not familiar with any of these programs and you're interested, again, just talk to the folks in the back, and they will fill you in on all the great programs that we offer. You heard from a couple of our elected officials earlier, and we have a few others here that you'll be hearing from later. But we continue to work with our statewide MECA and our national organizations and our statewide organizations to ensure that the elected officials here in Lansing and Washington, D.C. actually understand the side of the issues that impact members of the co-op like yourself. So it's very important, a very important process, so we continue to stay engaged with them. And if you want to continue to stay engaged yourself, we do have a program, and we promote it, we encourage it, and that is for our members to participate directly in the ACRE, the co-op owners. And ACRE is the Political Action Committee for Elected Co-ops. So you want to be directly involved, I would encourage you to sign up for that program. So that's it pretty quick from my point here. And I know that sometimes it's not information that really is interesting to everybody. So really, I'm really open the floor up right now to take any questions or comments from you, to share, to hear from you as to what you might have questions on, or you want me to elaborate on before. Yes?
You got any information on solar as far as anything working there?
So the question was, do we have anything on solar or anything working there? So last year we talked about solar, and for those that were here, you'll probably remember it. Last year we were talking about three things. One was our net metering program, and the net metering program allows an individual, like our members, to install their own solar system and interconnect to our system. And we have probably about 30 members that do have used that. The problem with it, and we talked about it last year, was the tariff or the rate that when they overproduced, we had to buy that power back, and we were paying a premium for that power. And basically, anyone else, any of the other members that were not in the program, were subsidizing that. So we made it a point to revisit that tariff, and we made some adjustments, and the board approved at an open meeting a revised tariff that now, if a member overproduces, we pay them what we could buy it for on the open market, so it's fair. So that's one thing that we did over the year. Last year we also talked about community solar, and again, community solar is a large solar array where we, the co-op, would own it and maintain it, but would make available certain number of solar panels to an individual like yourself that may not have the property put their own solar array on, or they may not have the financial resources to make that investment. So for a nominal fee, you would buy into a piece of the solar array, community solar array, and then that amount that's produced from those panels that you pay for would offset your electric bill. So we are still having those discussions. I'm actually meeting with a developer later this month. We have a couple proposals to present to us. One of them is a community solar project that would be built, and so we are moving forward. We hope to have something in place sooner than later. And then the other thing regarding solar is a lot of the other co-ops have already moved in this direction and offered something like this. But it's called, what they call is buy-off, sell-off. And the net metering program I talked about earlier, you're limited to the size you put in. You can only put in a solar array large enough to offset your needs. So you're basically not an independent power producer. You're just offsetting your own needs. The concept behind buy-all, sell-all is you can become if you want to call it an independent power producer. You can produce more than what you use. You can produce what you need, you can produce what your neighbor needs, and other co-op members may need. And we, the co-op, would buy that power from you and then sell it back to our members. So we are looking at that. We have talked to several members that have expressed interest in that, so we are having discussions on those as well. Any other questions or comments? Yes?
Yeah, concerning the tree trimming, I just want to say thanks. For somebody that's usually out of electricity, we did our area last year, had that windstorm and snowstorm, and hey, we never lost power.
Good, good. So the comment, if you didn't hear it, I'll make sure I repeat this. She was basically giving us a thumbs up for our tree trimming program. Our tree trimmers, Captain Tree Services, went through her area last year. And again, when we go through an area, we try to be very aggressive, and that means to, any trees underneath the line, any trees, 15 feet on each side of the wire, we try to trim them to the ground and get a corridor. And the reason we do that is if we trim those to the ground and remove those trees, we'll never have to spend another penny of yours to touch those trees again. As opposed to us, if we can't get the tree removed, 5 years later, we're spending more of your money trimming that same tree. So, again, the comments were, we're doing a good job. Appreciate those comments, and we're making progress, but we're not where we need to be. We have a lot of circuits yet to do, and it is paying dividends. The board every year allocates a lot of money every year for tree trimming. And with these windstorms and snow events that we've been having, we're seeing the dividends. In those areas we've been through, we're not seeing the damage and the outages. So it is paying off. So appreciate the comment.
I just have another comment about capping trees. I had them do some stump grinding for maybe 4 or 5 trees. They're very professional. They're all over the state now. It was for a nominal fee, so that's a nice extra service.
Yeah, again, the comment was she had some tree stumps ground by Cap and Tree Services. And, when we get the trees removed, we try to work with property owners, and some property owners like the brush left for the rabbits and wildlife. Some like the brush chipped up and the chips left there. Some like the stumps ground up. So we try to work with the property owners. And again, she was appreciative of our service, so appreciate those comments. Yes?
I'd like to also acknowledge, these guys are kind, they're courteous, they're taking care of ourselves, our property, and they do a very dangerous job. They came out this year, ice storm, and then that big power loss that we all had with the wind. Those guys were there. Boom! It was amazing, and I really appreciate it.
Appreciate those comments. And it was a hats off to the hardworking linemen that work in dangerous conditions, hardworking conditions. I think the words were kind and friendly, and now, and good we are definitely very fortunate to have the crew that we have, and the 30 employees that we have. When we get hit with these big storms, everybody chips in and does what they need to do to get power restored. So appreciate the comments. They do a great job indeed. All right, any other comments or questions? Yes.
For anybody that's never done that home energy thing, I would highly recommend it. Brad and Clint came out and did mine. Found a couple spots that I need to address, but for those people who haven't done it, I would greatly do it. It's very interesting. They were very informative. Went through the house, found all my bad spots. That's great. Do it.
Appreciate that. Yeah, those energy audits are free and no cost to our membership, and basically it's all about saving money. For every every kilowatt hour that you don't have to use, we don't have to buy. And some power company, power plant, whether it's a nuclear or natural gas or wind, they don't have to produce. So it all makes sense. So if you're not taking advantage of that home energy audit that she spoke of, give us a call. Brad, Clint, and Logan do a fine job. We have some very good programs that will show you operating costs of different heating seasons or heating systems. Earlier today, someone asked me about geothermal and what I thought of it. Geothermal is great. There is an upfront cost. Usually there's more of an upfront cost than another system. But with a geothermal system, first of all, there's a 30% federal tax credit. So you can take 30% right off the top. The program that I was talking about that Brad and Clint and Logan have, they can punch in the parameters of your home, the insulating value of your home, and punch in different values, different heating and cooling systems, and come up with an operating cost and a payback. Most of the paybacks in Clint, maybe I'm seeing 5 years or so payback on geothermals. So you can look at it this way: there is an upfront cost, but we do offer loans for geothermal systems. And then after 5 years, that's money in your pocket. So instead of paying the fuel man or the propane man, that's money that you're not spending. So, and on top of that, people don't talk about it too much. They like to talk about wind and solar being renewable, but geothermal systems are renewable. They take the heat that's in the ground and it's a renewable system, and they are very efficient. Some of the older systems are 300 to 400% efficient. Some of the newer systems are 500% efficient. And if you compare that to renewables that seem to be on the forefront, wind, they're 45, maybe 50% efficient. Solar, about 20%. So geothermal, I encourage it. We support it. We promote it. If you're looking for a good heating, you know, it's not only heating, it also provides cooling in the summer and humidity control. It's a great system to have. So again, if you have any questions about heating systems, reach out to us before you make that final decision. Yep.
Yeah, my question is, are you intending on installing those smart meters? And if so, will we be able to opt out?
Great question. So yeah, we have retained an engineering firm to help us select a technology and a vendor. At this point in time, we don't know what that technology is. Most likely, you know, so the system we're putting in is an automated metering infrastructure, which will allow us to do a lot of things. It'll allow us to be more responsive to you, our members. You know, right now, you know, if you have a power problem or an outage, we don't know about it until you pick up the phone and call us. With this system that we will be putting in, we'll know hopefully before you notice, and we can be working on the problem even before we get that phone call from you. It'll allow us to read the meters, your monthly meters, so you won't have to read the meters every month like you are doing so. Sometimes our members don't always read the meter every month. Unfortunately, we have to submit a bill to you, and if we don't have a reading, we estimate. And the problem with estimating a bill is they're not 100% accurate. So we'll either estimate too high or too low. In the end, that estimate has to be reconciled with a true reading. And sometimes, if we estimate too low and we estimate 2 or 3 months, you're stuck with a high bill that you may have trouble paying. So we're going to eliminate that. There's so many other things that will benefit the co-op and save the co-op money. But the question is, will you be allowed to opt out? So a couple of negative things that have come up when you read about in the newspapers and social media is two negative impacts, two negative effects. First one is, well, you know, the government's going to know what I'm doing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So the privacy issue comes into question. Well, I can guarantee you there is a lot of data that will be collected, probably more data than we'll know what to do with. But as the data comes in and we can utilize it to our advantage and to reduce their costs, we will be doing that. But we will not be sharing that data with you, and we will definitely not have time to try to figure out when you're having your cup of coffee in the morning or what radio or TV program you're watching at night. The other issue comes up is there's claims that there's adverse health effects due to some of the radio wave technologies that are used. There's not been any substantiated studies that do substantiate that, but there are those that firmly believe in that. So with that, the utilities and FUM will also allow a member to opt out of having one of these advanced meters on their house if they want to. But with that comes an additional cost. So we're not going to be able to read your meter from the office, so we're going to have to send someone out there. We're going to have to roll a truck and a man out there to read it. So there will be additional costs. So with that opt-out, there will most likely be a fee associated with that to read your meter. Any other questions regarding that or any other things? Yep.
Yeah, I had seen a video from the Lyman's magazine about the smart grid system, and I was just wondering where your take is on that for the company.
So the smart grid, really where it starts is this automated metering infrastructure. So that puts in the system, and again, first we're going to be, getting data from the meters. We're going to be able to monitor your voltage conditions, monitor outages. If someone's tampers with their meter, we're going to know right away. There'll be an alarm, and we'll have someone out there that day. So if someone's trying to help themselves to free electricity, they will be found very quickly. Disconnects, reconnects. We have a lot of people that do struggle making their monthly payments, and we work with the state and federal agencies to give them the assistance that they need. But we still have a lot of people that struggle and can't pay their bills. So we have to eventually shut them off for non-payment, and we do this. Right now, we send out a truck and a person and disconnect the meter. And then when they get the funds to turn it back on, which is usually that same day or the day later, we have to roll that same truck out there and the same people and reconnect them. With this system, we'll be able to do that automatically from the office. But to answer your question about the smart grid, so this system will be up throughout our 2,000 miles throughout here in San Luis Obispo County. So you can then incorporate some automatic controls in the substations and out on the lines. You may have heard or read something about self-healing electric systems. So what that does is there's protective equipment set strategically throughout the system, and if there's a fault or an outage, the smart system, the smart grid will sense where that problem is and determine that, hey, this circuit can be backfed automatically and it'll self-heal that outage. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities in the future, a lot of opportunities that really aren't being utilized today or even thought of. So once we get that system in, we'll be able to do a lot more in the future with that. Any other questions or comments? One over here. I thought there was a hand over here.
With these smart meters that you're thinking on putting in, and you have, like, for me, instance, I have 2 meters on my house, one for my interrupted and my heating system, in general. With a house with 2 meters, does that mean that there's going to be an additional cost for these smart meters for every day?
So the question is regarding smart meters, and smart meters have gotten a bad rap, and so again, we're not going to be using the word smart meters or smart system. We're using automated metering infrastructure. But the question was, he has 2 meters. Will there be an additional cost? Obviously he's participating in our dual fuel rate, so he has 2 meters. So every one of these meters will have to be replaced. So there will be a capital investment for the co-op to replace those. That will not, you will not see a higher meter surcharge because of the automated metering infrastructure going in. But yeah, if you have 2 meters will have to be replaced with the meters that have the technology to transmit both ways. But did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yep. Okay, anything else? A lot of great questions, a lot of great comments. Appreciate that. We have quite a bit yet on our agenda here, so I'm going to step down. But again, I appreciate your interest and support of the co-op, and ask you to continue to stay engaged with your elected board members, stay engaged with the employees. The more engaged you are, the more knowledgeable you are, and the better help you can help us make wiser decisions for your co-op. So again, appreciate that. Enjoy the day, enjoy the festivities, and we'll be around all afternoon. So thank you.